Please welcome anchor of TIJ Talks, Tall Heinrich.
Our next guest has served with distinction as Israel's ambassador to the United States since 2013. Throughout the years, he has been a steadfast friend to our movement and worked tirelessly to bring America and Israel closer together. He joins us today to discuss the state of the U.S.-Israel relationship, as well as the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead for this special alliance. Everyone, please welcome Ambassador Ron Dermer. Great to see you again, Ambassador. You have been the Israeli ambassador to Washington for more than 6 years now. Tell us, what reflections can you share regarding the importance of the U.S.-Israel alliance?
Well, I think when it comes to the U.S.-Israel alliance, everyone understands why America is so important to Israel. People understand the generous and are grateful for the generous military assistance we've gotten over many decades, advanced weapon systems that have been provided to us, the cooperation we do on missile defense, the support America has given Israel during times of economic crisis like loan guarantees, the backing for Israel's right to defend itself, the support we've been given in international fora, particularly the UN. People get that. I think what is not quite understood is the importance of the relationship for America, meaning what does Israel mean to America? And I believe that Israel is going to be America's most important ally in the 21st century. And I'm not saying that because we agree with the Trump administration on the best way to confront Iran or the best way to advance peace with the Palestinians. I said that statement that Israel will be the most important ally of the U.S. in the 21st century in the first speech I gave as a sitting Israeli ambassador on our Independence Day in 2014, when we disagreed with the previous administration over the best way to confront Iran or the best way to advance peace. And why did I say that? 2 reasons: security and technology. So here's the question I want to ask people. I'm going to make you President of the United States. You can only choose one ally in the world for the next half century. Now think about security. Who do you choose? Now when you think about security, think about a military that can defend itself by itself, where you don't have to send your sons and daughters into harm's way. Think about an intelligence service that is capable of giving you things you need to protect your own people, your interests, your other allies in the world. Think about a cyber capability that can help you defend critical infrastructure. And think about a country that can develop weapon systems, offensive and defensive, that can help you meet the threats of the future. Now, America is blessed to have many allies around the world, but if you really think about that, the list goes down to 2. It's us and Great Britain. Now take a second area, technology. If you could choose only one technology partner for the next 50 years, who do you choose? Now, I have great respect for Great Britain, but they're not in the same time zone as Israel when it comes to technology. And it's not just technologies like ag tech or water or cyber, which I mentioned before. It's the technologies of the future, like AI, artificial intelligence. What is the countries that are emerging as the powers in artificial intelligence, which is going to really affect our lives in the future, are the United States, China, Russia, and Israel. Now, I'm going to be diplomatic. China and Russia are not allies of the United States. Israel is. So if you're thinking about American security and American prosperity, there is no better partner in the world than Israel. Now, when I said that, statement 6 years ago, people think, it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, I'm the ambassador, privileged to be the ambassador of a country that has 9 million citizens, It's the size of New Jersey. You're going to be our most important ally? Well, 6 years later, listening to what I just said, people don't think it's so ridiculous. And 10 years from now, when an Israeli ambassador is going to sit here, people are going to say, yeah, of course, Israel's the most important ally of the U.S. in the 21st century. And that's a message that I hope all of you will take across this country.
We can only imagine 10 years from now. One of your most memorable moments as ambassador actually came during a visit to the death camp Majdanek in Poland. We have a photo of you from that visit, a particular moment. Can you tell us the story behind this?
Yes, that was probably the most surreal moment that I've ever had in my life. This happened about 2 years ago, and I went on a trip of March of the Living, on March of the Living, and those of you who have not been there should take that trip. It's really a remarkable opportunity to see what happened and to see it firsthand. And on that day, I had to join a call between America's National Security Advisor and our National Security Advisor. And we were discussing a response that we each had to take to actions in Syria. The United States was about to respond to Assad's chemical weapons strike, and Iran was planning an attack against Israel from Syria. And I found myself having to take this call as I was going around Poland, and the call was delayed multiple times. And it turns out that we went to Majdanek. And those of you who haven't been to Majdanek, it is a death camp in eastern Poland. The Soviets liberated Majdanek, and they got there before the Nazis had a chance to destroy all the evidence. So when you go there, you almost can't believe that it's real, that you have the actual guard towers and the barracks and the gas chambers. And I went about my day as the call was postponed multiple times, and I got the call on a secure line. It came when I was actually in the crematorium. And I answered the phone, and I walked outside. And if you can put that picture back up, I'm sitting on a bench there. And at Majdanek, you can't see you can go look it up on Google afterwards, but Majdanek, the crematoria, has a 50-meter chimney. And that's to my left. To my right is a 2-story high mound of human ash that is still there, human ash. And I'm on this call with the National Security Advisor of Israel and the United States, and I'm looking at a chimney and this mound of human ash, and to me it was so surreal because this was the ultimate symbol of Jewish powerlessness. And here I was, privileged to be an ambassador of Israel. And the most remarkable thing about being an ambassador of Israel is that there are ambassadors of Israel. That the Jewish people today have a voice, which we didn't have 75 years ago. And I see this image of Jewish powerlessness right in front of my eyes. And I'm in a conversation between the greatest, most powerful nation on the face of the earth and a sovereign Jewish state where we're talking about confronting evil. And if you ever needed to encapsulate the great transformation that has happened in the life of the Jewish people from a stateless and powerless people to a sovereign people that is capable of defending itself, it was right there. And that's why it was a remarkable moment for me.
The picture says it all. You mentioned Iran's entrenchment in Syria briefly. The killing of Qasem Soleimani, ambassador, was obviously a major event in the Middle East. Some say a big game changer. What is the impact for Israel?
It's a huge impact. First, understand, Israel is deeply grateful to President Trump for the decision to withdraw from the nuclear deal with Iran. That deal would enable Iran to develop a nuclear arsenal, not just one nuclear bomb in a few years. Maybe it could prevent that, but it virtually guarantees that it's going to have a nuclear arsenal in a decade or 15 years. We are also grateful that President Trump decided to put crippling sanctions on the Iranian regime, an enormously important act not just for the United States, but for Israel. And it starves this regime of the fuel, the money that it needs to fuel its war machine in the region. Hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars. The money, the 50 billion or 100 billion that people talked about at the time the deal was signed, that was the signing bonus of the deal. The big money was Iran's ability to sell oil. They were up to nearly 3 million barrels a day of oil on the international markets. Now they're down to under 300,000 barrels a day, which means that every day Iran is being starved of about $150 million. And then, besides those crippling sanctions, President Trump made the bold decision to take out the world's #1 terrorist, Qasem Soleimani. And I said, when I had an opportunity to see the president afterwards, I said to him, Iran's got this war machine in the region. You starved them of the fuel, and now you just took out the driver. And that's what he did in taking out Qasem Soleimani, who was the #1 enemy of the United States, responsible for the murder of 600 American soldiers and probably the maiming of thousands more with all those IEDs that he was responsible for through his proxies in Iraq and Afghanistan and elsewhere. And by making this decision, it has helped restore American power and deterrence in the Middle East. And all of Iran's proxies are now deterred. And Iran's regime is deterred because now they know that a president of the United States is prepared to take the action he needs to take in order to defend America, in order to defend America's allies in the region. And that makes Israel safer, and it makes our entire region safer. And we are deeply grateful for the decision the president made.
Ambassador Ron Dermer, we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you for joining us. A round of applause for the ambassador.
Thank you. Thank you, AIPAC.